Hi, and welcome to part 2 of Upright Adventures. This time, I buy a Suzuki Gladius 650 sight unseen off the internet and ride it from Melbourne back to Brisbane. It didn't all go to plan, but it was definitely an adventure. Let's take a look. It's been about 35 minutes on this dirt road here. The fuel lights just come on, which means, oh no. Hang on, let's go back to the start. I wanted to do a road trip, but I didn't have time to ride from Brisbane to Melbourne and back again. So the plan was to find a bike in Melbourne and just ride it home. I had my eye on a couple of bikes, but this one stood out to me for a few reasons. It was well priced, so I could sell it when I got back. The tyres looked good, it looked like it was in good condition, and I didn't need to do any mechanical work before I set out on my trip. First things first, I sent old mate a message to get the VIN number so I could check the bike wasn't stolen. I arranged to meet the guy at the airport, and I packed my things. If you guys want me to do a detailed video on what to bring on a motorbike trip, let me know. But in short, I just brought these things. Tools, tyre repair kit, tie downs, clothes, a swag to sleep in, and my pillion bags which had all my motorbike gear in them, including my helmet. If you're povo like me, just strap it all together and wrap it in cling wrap to pretend it's just one big bag for the airport. Before I go any further, it's probably worth mentioning it's not advisable to meet random people off the internet and get them to pick you up from an airport, especially when they know you're going to have $3.5 grand on you. But hey, I didn't get murdered for making this video. As you can see, it's pretty filthy, so I gave it a wash, and it came up beautifully. All the paintwork and everything was immaculate. And it sounded pretty good too. Before you go for a ride, especially on a new bike, you should check the following. Chain. Is it well lubricated and in good condition? Coolant. Is there enough there? Oil. Now you need to check the owner's manual to see if you need to warm up the bike first before the oil level can be checked. This one, you do. Fourth, disc brakes. Is there enough meat on the pads, front and rear? And fifthly, are the tyres pumped up and in good condition? No issues here. Now I had to pack a mountain of stuff on this bike with my crappy pillion bags. I set off for the Great Ocean Road from my mate's house in Victoria. It was a beautiful ride down, but the day was less than ideal. It was super windy and I was getting blown all over the road. But I knew this was the only chance I was going to get to see this beautiful part of Australia, so I soldiered on anyway. Tip pro. Put an old tarp on your bike so thieves think it's shit and will leave it alone. Pro tip. After a few nights in hostels on the Great Ocean Road, I head to Victorian High Country to meet a friend. Adventure update. It's been about 35 minutes on this dirt road here. Fuel lights just come on, which means I've got about 30 k's of range before I run out. The nearest town's in 35 k's. I haven't seen anyone on this road. I only came down here because Google gave me an option, save 11 minutes. Turns out to be a bad decision. Update. I found a bitumen road. Very excited. And this road lasted for about 5 minutes before turning back to even worse dirt. I found a small town that had a pub and ended up buying some fuel at about $4 a litre out of a 44-gallon drum that they pumped into my bike. Which means I could probably make it to Mansfield, which is apparently along a terrible road, the chick at the pub said. Haven't had reception for about 3 hours, so hopefully my preloaded Google Maps will last. And then yeah, just in the middle of nowhere. But anyway, after about 9 hours on the bike, and about at least 3 of those being off-road, I made it to the farm. This is the next day. Look, cows! After a few days on the farm, I did a ride up Mount Hotham. And this was pretty fun, but it ended up getting real cold. I did 1,600 metres above sea level. 0 degrees at the moment. I don't know what the wind is. Bloody freezing. -2 here at the moment. Just parked up next to the Bearcat snowmobile. Top of Mount Hotham. I found a pretty good place to stay in Sydney, and after a couple of days, I headed back up to Brisbane, which is mainly uneventful, apart from this. Just going down the freeway and then just a million cars blocking the road. After making it back to Brisbane, I gave the bike a clean, took a couple of good photos to sell it, and put it on the market. I was leaving town, so I set the price to what I bought it for. Within a couple of days, I had a buyer, and he took it off my hands. This whole trip cost me less than $500, and I didn't have the perfect bike for every condition, but it got me there in one piece, and it was a great adventure. Thanks for watching. Please consider subscribing for part 3 of Upright Adventure. Remember, keep it upright.
Gotta be quiet here. There's wild Bigfoots. I found some of their kills earlier. Bigfoot got this fella. Gotta be really careful out here.